Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone is well today. I hope everyone is staying warm inside of their homes, jobs. I'm bringing you very disturbing news out of Tucson, Arizona. Savannah Guthrie, who hosts the Today Show on NBC, her mom, 84-year-old mother, is currently missing out of Arizona, and there's a lot of buzz. Law enforcement has spoken. He has not given a lot of details because naturally this is an ongoing investigation, but homicide detectives are on the case. It has been deemed her home a crime scene. It is believed also that this is a kidnapping/abduction. Let's hear from local news pertaining to this devastating information. Welcome to the Vault XL, everybody. This is bad.
Developments in the search for the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. The Pima County Sheriff telling us today he believes 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie may have been abducted from her Tucson home. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly joins us live outside the home with the very latest on a terrible situation down there, Chase.
Troy, that's correct. And a few hours ago, I spoke with the sheriff, and he told me that investigators uncovered DNA evidence here at the scene. That evidence has now been sent to a crime lab in Phoenix for testing, possibly leading to a suspect in this case. It was at Nancy Guthrie's Catalina Foothills home just north of Tucson, where the Pima County Sheriff's Department says the 84-year-old was taken against her will.
Timing is very critical to us. The longer this goes on, the more danger she faces.
Sheriff Chris Nanos telling me Guthrie was last seen by family on Saturday night at 9:30. The next morning, family went to check on her when they learned Guthrie didn't attend church. When they went to the home, she was gone. Her phone, car, and wallet left behind. Then on Monday night, the sheriff says investigators found something else at the scene.
We're looking at some DNA, possibly trying to see what we can gather from that.
Samples that were just sent off to a lab in Phoenix for testing. Was that DNA found in the house possible person of interest or anything?
Well, we don't know. We took samples that we believe will have a DNA profile. No clue whose it is yet. No clue what it's about yet.
Saying it will be a couple of days for results. In the meantime, they are looking at security camera footage from Guthrie's home, along with videos captured by neighbors.
We've got hundreds, if not now thousands, of leads to look at.
During the day, search and rescue teams were seen combing through the area using helicopters, drones, and canines, looking into the possibility that the 84-year-old may have wandered off. However, Nano says Guthrie was mentally sound, but had trouble moving on her own.
You know, the family said she wouldn't walk 50 feet or 50 yards, and it would be pretty hard for her to get that far without some assistance.
Another reason why the homicide unit is also investigating. Neighbors like Lisa McIntyre seeing them in the area.
It's a tragic situation. I just hope that it is not the worst case scenario.
Nancy is the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie.
Is that a true story that I just told? Absolutely true.
She would appear on her daughter's program often, sharing stories of the close bond they shared. Savannah releasing this statement about the case, saying in part, quote, "I want to thank everyone for their thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom." Now, time really isn't on the side for investigators. The sheriff telling me that Nancy has to take medication within 24 hours. If she doesn't, it could be fatal. Of course, we'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online as this search continues. For now, we're live in Tucson. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
12 News is the source, everyone. If you need verification, all information is posted to my community page. Let's get down to business. 84 years of age. She is not mentally disabled, dementia, aware of her faculties, but she has mobile issues, meaning she cannot move fast. And that's normal for her age. But the family says she's aware of her faculties. She knows who she is. She knows where she's at. Car at the home, wallet at the home, phone left behind. Where is Nancy Guthrie? She has cameras. So this makes it even more disturbing. And people are going to compare this case, once again, to the Tepe case because you're looking at things that just don't make no sense and the brazenness of it all. Because now when you factor in cameras, stay woke now. The perpetrator is saying, I don't give a fuck. So let's ask this question. Were the cameras disabled? Why this lady? What do you want with this lady? What has this lady done to you? Was this a situation of robbery? Somebody was wanting to borrow money. She didn't want to give up the money. She had been giving money. Gardener, church member, friend, neighbor. What are we talking about here? Does it have something to do with Miss Savannah, the daughter, who is a TV celebrity? Something she said during a broadcast? Could it be something personal against the United States government? I don't know. The Olympics is coming up. I'm weighing everything possible in my head to why this woman is missing. It is now a crime scene. What is left behind? The family got in. Did they have a key to notice something was awry inside of the home? Also, we get from this, I believe it's the sheriff, tells us outside also something didn't look right. So we're talking about inside and outside. But where I have the problem is the camera. Okay? You are willing to go in a home, go to the property, and there's a camera. So I have to ask, did you disable the camera? Who is this person? Are we talking about more than one person? Personal vendetta. We found out this morning, or let's say Queen found out, that Miss Savannah has been married before. She did not want to discuss her marriage because naturally, she's on a TV news program. So naturally, you don't want to put too much of your personal information out there about what happened bad in your marriage. I think it only lasted for 4 years. And she also, from what the commentary heard, was that it was embarrassing, whatever happened negatively in that marriage. So is this a personal situation, a family, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband? Could it be that the mother was dating someone? Bingo card. I stay woke. 50,000 scenarios. Could it be that the mother was dating someone? Could it be that somebody liked the mother? Don't think because she was elderly, she could not have been dating someone. Could not have been liking a man, fancying a man. Now, her husband is deceased, okay? Her husband is deceased. She has 3 children. Savannah is the baby of the family. She has an older brother and an older sister. The sister's an author. The brother is a former pilot, military pilot. So everyone is, from appearances, on the up and up. Because you have to ask all those questions. What type of children does she have? Does she have children that could be on drugs or mentally disabled, living with her? You have to ask all those questions. Who had access to her house? Who had a key to the house? How many people have a key to the house? How many relatives live nearby? It is being said that the woman went to church over the weekend, got dropped off Saturday night, about 9:45. That's the last time anyone has seen her visibly, heard from her. What did she do when she went in her home? How was everything looking when she went in her home? Could it be the perpetrator was already in her house? As we have seen with Mr. Tepe, the case with the Tepes in Ohio, an ex-husband made his way in that house and had been there weeks before, rambling around, possibly Jimmy indoors and trying to find a way to get in there to execute these people weeks later. What are we talking about here? Could it be the woman was surprised when she got dropped off? Had somebody been watching her house and knew she had left Saturday? She went to church. When she gets back, common sense will tell you 9:30, 9:45, it's dark outside. Could it be the perpetrator was already on the property, near the property, or inside of her home? Sunday morning, she's not at church. Eyebrows are raised. And now we have a missing person. We also have a crime scene. As you heard in this commentary, DNA was left behind. Is this blood? Is this fecal matter? Is this semen? Is it vomit? What is it? Don't mean to be disrespectful, but they said DNA. DNA comes from many things from the body. Are we going to find out that the perpetrator hurt him or herself? Are we talking about a gory scene to where they believe this woman is hurt? And the fact that they knew that she left out by the hands of somebody else, how do you know that? Because her car was there, and what was left behind? See, that's the scary part too. Is what was left behind. Hello, Shorty. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. How are you, dear? What was left behind? For them to say, she did not walk out of here, she didn't run out of here, she didn't skip out of here. Somebody took her out of here. And the correction has been made by law enforcement. No, she was not taken from her bed. He was speaking, just in the terms of elderly woman taken from her bed, but he meant to say home, taken from her home. So let me put that into a clarification, because Court TV already has a video of saying Miss Guthrie was taken from her bed. Law enforcement says taken from her home. Either way, to me, it doesn't matter. Taken from the bathtub, on the toilet, wheelchair, recliner, she's missing. Prayers to you, dear. Hope you get well. As most of you know, I'm a night owl. I stay up late watching TV. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I stay up late watching TV, or I hit the play button and listen. I don't necessarily watch it, but I can hear the people speaking, the guests on different shows. So I watch YouTube all into the wee hours, listening to different podcasts from different people speaking about, and some of the people you have heard and seen, retired detectives giving their opinions on certain podcasts. And most are going to tell you it don't sound good. Because we're going from Saturday night into Tuesday. The search has been called off. That's also alarming. Why? Thank you, sweetheart. Why was the search called off after 2 days? Vast terrain, Arizona. When you look out, to the demographic pictures that have been shown on the news, lots of, cactus, shrubbery. It would be hard to see at night what's going on at someone's home, and even during the day. Because if you're not a nosy Parker, you're not looking through the bushes, you understand what I'm saying, to see what's going on at Mrs. Guthrie's home. You're minding your own business. And when you're talking about the night hour, the witching hour, when terrible things go awry, you're definitely not paying attention, because you're minding your own business in your home. This is bad. Savannah must be beside herself. She and her siblings. She's in Arizona now. She will not be covering the Olympics. Naturally. She has to be worried sick, she and her family, brother, sister. Where is my mother? Who has my mother? Why do you have my mother? What has my mother done to you? They have to be racking their brains right now, trying to figure out, because I was racking mine this morning. I was like, 84-year-old woman, what do you want with an 84-year-old woman? Come on. Can't be that serious. But that's the whole point. When you're dealing with someone, as one detective, ex-detective said, desperate people. And I talk about that a lot on this network. Desperate people do desperate things. What you wouldn't do doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't do it. Have you ever been in a desperate situation? You remember how you felt when you were desperate? You felt desperate. You didn't see a way out. at that time. And this is the very reason why many people are incarcerated and many people are dead, because someone felt desperate and he or she or they exacted a crime. May have felt bad later, may have had remorse later, but couldn't take it back. And so now we have everyone racking their brains trying to figure out, why would someone go into the home of this lady and take her out of there? And possibly they hurt her on the scene because something was left behind for detectives to come on, homicide detectives, to now be called to investigate what is being deemed a crime scene. So were things knocked over, broken, blood? Possibly so. A struggle. Somebody was asking her for something. I need this. You got what I need. She's telling, I don't got nothing. You got money? Yes, you do. Your daughter's famous. Who knows? And that may be what this is about. Her daughter is famous. Somebody knew this. They figured she had money. She's got a nice house, and they knew she was alone. So you have to be very careful with elderly people living alone, or even single people, because desperate people don't give a damn. Desperate people don't give a damn. It could be a delivery guy. Let's knock down the possibilities, shall we? Delivery, FedEx, UPS, DoorDash, pharmacy. People who learn your habits. They are watching when they pull up, how many cars are in the driveway. Lights flick on, flick off. If it's early morning, nighttime. Somebody just out on the prowl looking for a victim, somebody to rob, sexually assault. This could even be a sexual assault. Stay woke. And some of you are like, oh man, come on, Queen. Hey, you got people who rock like this. You can't be shocked now. This could actually be a sexual assault of an elderly woman. And it happens all the time. You've heard many cases of women being assaulted in their homes by a perpetrator. And you know that perpetrators have their own type. And you do have some dirty birds who like assaulting elderly women, men. This could be that. Someone knew she was alone, been stalking her, stalking the family, knew she was there alone. Because think about it, most people aren't going to try to get in your home either by breaking in or knocking on the door if they know there's a house full of people. So somebody knew she was by herself. And for all we know, they had been driving up and down the street, watching. We don't even know the hours she got missing, hurt, because she's entering her home at nighttime. And as I said, the perpetrator could have already been lying in wait. Could have been disguised in the shrubbery. She's not paying attention to that. She's not thinking somebody's standing outside on the side of her house, waiting for her, already in the house. What if we find out the person was already in there? Stay woke. You can use deduction. This dirty business was done either nighttime, wee hour, or early morning, Sunday morning. But they had been watching whoever it was. They knew Mrs. Nancy was alone, vulnerable. Also, she takes medicine. Don't know what the medicine is. It's probably either for her heart or possibly for diabetes. Everyone knows that when you are taking insulin, you're taking shots, you're taking the pills, you have to be taking that medicine. You'll get very, very ill. The family wants this woman returned. If you have her, please return her back to her home. There's nothing so serious that you have to put your hands on her, disrespect her house, disrespect her person, and then take her out. And the one thing I have learned about true crime is that rarely a stranger takes the victim out of the house. Rarely does the stranger take the victim out of the house. It is usually someone who knows the victim that takes the victim out of the house. The only time it's stranger taking them out if they're trying to take them to the ATM, to the bank. And that's too risky because the banks, they've got great cameras. And how are you going to take her to the bank? Number one, she ain't getting out to the ATM wounded. Number two, she can't sit up in the car and wave hello wounded, bleeding. And she can't walk into the bank. Banks aren't open on Sunday. Come on with it. So explain to us what the motive is. Who and why? Does this have something to do with her daughter being famous? Number one. Is this family vengeance? Random crime or somebody that Mrs. Guthrie knows or knows of? Those are your options. Take the poll on my community page where I ask you these questions on a poll. Who you think has abducted this elderly woman? Just when I was trying to, rack my brain around the Tempe case, there's a suspect that's been arrested, the ex-husband of Monique. Still strange and bizarre, a person holding a torch, but that's not anything that's unusual. Someone still having feelings for someone. The problem is unaliving that person and their spouse many moons later. That's where it's bizarre. Wishing death upon a person 10 or so years later. That's the problem. Sneaking around their property. Victim not reporting it to the police. I'm very baffled by that. Because I cannot see two people coming to an agreement. Hey, we're not going to notify the police. Hey, we don't want it to escalate. It has already escalated. Once a person is driving by your house, they are on your property, they are in your house, it has escalated. And I won't doubt this situation with Mrs. Guthrie. It's somebody she knows. Because what is the motive of taking her out? Even if you went in and there was a disagreement, you wanted to borrow money, you were in the act of taking, it's strange. And it could be that she came home and it was the process of a robbery. But then that wouldn't make any sense because how are they going to leave? You're robbing her house on foot. And that doesn't make any sense because she ain't there. So how would you take her to get rid of her or take her to the next place? On foot, because she can barely walk. Stay woke, everybody. And she would notice a strange car in front of her house or in her driveway when she pulled in from the person she was with, dropping her off. So you start knocking the pins down of logic. She ain't getting out that car. Whose car is this? Why are they in my driveway? Why are they sitting in front of my house? You'd be scared to get out. They park down the street. That means you have to walk the victim down the street. That's still too risky. But either way, the person took the risk because this lady has security cameras. So now let's ask the other question. Does she have cameras on the inside of her home? Bingo card. A lot of people said, no, I don't think she has cameras in there. Let me tell anybody who has the money to afford security, baby, you need to put those cameras anywhere where a person ain't even thinking about looking. Put them on your stairs, side of the stairs, in the dirt, make them look like lights. High up outside where can't nobody even reach it to throw anything up there, spray paint it. Inside the house, tallest corner where nobody can get up there unless they got a damn ladder. Disguise it inside. And you also have to be careful about the company you keep. This could also be a situation the company Mrs. Guthrie has kept. It will be devastating if we find out it is somebody who knows Mrs. Guthrie well, such as a church member, a neighbor, somebody she has let into her home, somebody she has trusted, such as a caregiver, somebody that's coming in bringing meds, medicine, delivery. See, you have all type of dirty birds. So don't ever think it ain't this person, it ain't that person. There's no such thing. And another thing I want to address too. I was listening to a podcast last night, and I saw a lot of comments in this guy's chat that kind of irritated me. The people in the town stick together. It's a really nice town. It's a really nice area. What's your point? Who cares? I don't care if it's a trailer park, nice trailer park, not so nice trailer park, urban neighborhood, up and coming neighborhood, suburbs, small town, rural. Who gives a fuck? A lot of you don't think when you're commenting. It's a beautiful area. You know, I was watching the comments last night because he would show the comments on his, on his podcast last night. And I'm looking like, please stop showing these people comments. Because what does it have to do with the fact that this woman is missing? I don't give a damn how nice Tucson is and the area where she lived is nice. I don't care. You think her kids are sitting up here saying to themselves, well, mom lives in a nice neighborhood. I just can't imagine why somebody would kidnap our mother because we live in such a nice area. Now, if they're naive, let me take it back. If they're naive, they might be saying it to themselves. The neighbors are probably saying it to themselves. But if you woke, you're saying to yourself, this ain't good. And another thing I don't like hearing from law officials, the public ain't at risk. You all got to stop saying that. Whenever a person has decided to, number one, stalk a person, send them messages, break into their house, unalive them in their house, take them out of their house, yes, the perpetrator is a risk to the rest of us. What the hell are you talking about? Because most crime is unnecessary. I think most of us know this. Most crimes is either from jealousy, person seeking revenge because somebody don't want them, somebody's on drugs, they're needing money, fraud. It ain't even worth doing 1 day in jail over, or prison, or getting the death penalty. Okay? Hello, Gilligan, thank you. It's not even worth it. So stop saying the public ain't at risk because you have put in your mind, you know who the perpetrator is, and it ain't making no sense. The only time the public ain't at risk is if the person unalived the people and unalived himself or herself. And you have assessed that this was a homicide, suicide. But so long as 2 feet or more walked out of there from the place, the public is at risk. Because you're desperate enough to go in somebody's house, whether it was revenge, robbery, whatever the hell, you are a threat. That's the word I'm looking for. You are a threat to the rest of us. The hell you saying? I don't think that the public should be worried. If you don't even know who the hell the killer is or the kidnapper, how you gonna tell us the rest of us ain't at risk? You think the neighbors are sitting up right now thinking that? Hello, Gigi, thank you. Exactly. You think those neighbors are sitting around right now They not sitting ducks right now in their minds because they don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't even know why the hell an 84-year-old woman is missing from her house. So see, you can't tell those neighbors that. You can't tell that family that because they don't even know why their mama is missing. Now, the flip side could be the family do have an idea, but we don't know. And then the flip side could be they ain't told the police. Because the one thing you have to remember about people, we feel shame and we have pride. And a lot of times we don't want to tell people what we're thinking and what we know. And what have I always told you on this network? People do hide dirty secrets and they covet for other people. And that's a dangerous thing. So are we going to find out? This family has an idea. Who went in that woman's house? And have they told law enforcement what they think this is about? Is this in relevance to Savannah, who works for NBC News? Is it pertaining to the older sister? Does it have something to do with the brother, the older brother? Does it have something to do with Mrs. Nancy? Was she out here at the Piggly Wiggly and said something to somebody in the store that they didn't like? Was she dating an older man, younger man? He become jealous? Has she been loaning somebody money, giving somebody money? Has somebody been asking, begging for money? And she kept saying, no, 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 no. And they just eased her way in her house one day. And she felt bad and let him in. I don't know. I'm not even here saying which one it is. And I said that today. I said, when you go live, don't even say which one you think it is. Because like they say, sometimes you can be surprised who the perpetrator is and the motive. Because desperate people do desperate things. And I do not want anyone out here in this audience thinking because she's 84, she can barely move. She didn't have a life. She's lived a full life. So in that full life, Mrs. Nancy has met people. She has smiled at people. She has probably been kind to people. And let me tell you, being nice and smiling can lead to problems, unwanted problems. And this could be that scenario. She smiled at the wrong person at the grocery store, at the J.C. Penney. They followed her home. I don't know. She said something nice to somebody at church, and they took it, in the wrong way, thinking she was interested. You just don't know. Or she could have offended somebody at church. They decided to pay Mrs. Nancy a visit. She let him in. She saw him outside, looked through the peephole. Oh, that's Mr. Bob. That's Mrs. Susie. I'll let her in. Because many people have been accosted by people that they know. And that is one of the statistics pertaining to true crime. Many people are hurt, sexually assaulted by people that they know. And that's sad. Because in your mind, you want it to be a stranger. You don't want it to be that they're hurt, but you understand what I'm saying. In your mind, you'd rather say, oh, please don't say it's somebody that we know. Please don't say it's a family member, it's a neighbor. Mama let this person in thinking they were her friend or somebody she was trying to help, or she invited them over for dinner or something. Is Mrs. Guthrie alive? We have to go ahead and ask. Because we're now on Tuesday. What is the DNA that's being tested? Mrs. Guthrie's or the perpetrator, or both? What is the survival rate of what was left behind at the house? Because in order for you to say we have DNA, that means something was left behind that the crime scene techs could gather to test. And you know, there's only could be a few things from the human body to test. And most of us are probably thinking it is blood. And then you have to ask how much of it was left behind. And that's scary to me, because in my mind, I'm saying to myself, what if it's a lot to where they're saying she couldn't have survived? Then my head is saying, well, then why the hell you take her out of there? What the hell is this about? Because if it's a lot of blood, why did you take her out? Who takes a bloody person out of a house alive? Hell, even deceased. I don't get it. That's where I'm really confused. I'm confused that she had cameras and you were willing to commit a crime in her house, hurt her, even if she was still alive. You understand what I'm saying? That's bothering me. That you're that bold and brazen, and that's telling me you felt like you had nothing to lose. And that's a very dangerous person. We're not talking about somebody being carjacked, sitting at the red light at the shopping mall, okay? We're talking about somebody's personal home where you're supposed to feel safe. And as you can see with what happened in Ohio with the Tepes, you are not safe. Phone lines can be cut. And obviously doors can be dismantled. So a person can make their way in your house with the keypad, key punch, digital pad, however it works, and make their way in your house. And as I told you all in a live over a week ago, those doors can also, you can use a key. There's a little hole allegedly on the door pad that you can also use a key if you don't want to do the punch number, whatever. So even in the Tepe case, did he stick something in there to unlock the door? Pick the lock, rather. Through the keyhole or the door itself. Same thing over here in Arizona. How did the person make their way in Mrs. Guthrie's home? What were they doing there? Did she let the person in? Was she expecting a guest? Could she have been dating someone? Once again, as I said, don't think Mrs. Guthrie had stopped living in that way, that she could not have been courting a man. Maybe she was expecting a male guest. Things got out of hand in there. Maybe he made a pass. He did something she didn't like. She didn't want to do. They got to struggling. He hit her. See, you don't know. That's what's got me all messed up today. Damn, this is 84. It's a blessing to even be alive at 84. The stories you can share about how you got to be 84. I'm alive, I'm healthy. Yeah, I got some health issues, but I'm here. Poof. Now she's not. Or at least visibly. That's scary as hell. That's scary as hell. I'm not going to hold you all, but I wanted to come on. I wanted to give my sincerest prayers to the Guthrie family and the community. I am praying for a positive outcome. I do not want to assume the worst, but as time goes by and you don't hear anything, also I did not mention about a ransom. That has not been mentioned. That has not been detected, that anyone has called asking for money for Mrs. Guthrie. That's also troublesome as well, because when you start, as I say, knocking down the pins, you're trying to figure out, well, why is this woman gone? What is the DNA left behind? Naturally, law enforcement, no, I'm going to assume that it was blood. It just don't look good. Okay. Sony says, the sister stands out to me. I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for asking. Why does the sister stand out to you? Talk to the queen. I have mentioned she has an older brother, older sister. Savannah is the youngest. Savannah has a close relationship. You heard her mother say this in the interview. She's close to her daughter. She has a beautiful voice. I heard her voice last night. And I had to turn my head to look at the camera to see which one was talking. The mother has a very light voice, a young voice, beautiful voice. Very close relationship with her daughter, Savannah. And naturally, somebody might get in their feelings about this being mentioned a lot, that this is her daughter. But she is famous, and this is her mother. So you're going to keep hearing her name, Savannah, Savannah. But also, I want to iterate while I'm live, there are 2 other children whose mother is missing. Okay? Because this is what happens with news. We tend to dwell on the famous person as if there's nobody else close to the victim. So I want to make sure I say this during this live. She has a total of 3 children, 2 girls, 1 boy. Savannah is the youngest. There's an older brother, older sister. Sister's an author. The brother is a former military pilot. So they need to be mentioned as well, because that is also their mother. I won't doubt she also has grandchildren. She has a family. She has friends. She has neighbors. She has church friends. Okay? No ransom. The police have not alerted the neighbors to be aware that's family, because I only see Savannah on pics with the mom. Well, maybe the other people don't want their pictures shown. I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know. But I understand what you're saying. That's why I'm mentioning these other people. Because like I said, they could get in their feelings. Y'all just keep talking about Savannah, Savannah, Savannah. She's our mom too. I don't know. The police is not going to make them aware who it is. Even if the police have an idea of what happened in that house and who the suspect is, they're not going to tell the neighbors anything. They're not going to tell the family anything. What they're going to do, they're going to ask these people about their relationship with Mrs. Guthrie. They're going to ask what they've seen coming and going from Mrs. Guthrie. But the police are not going to tell nobody nothing of what they have learned, what they've seen in the phone, what they've seen in her house. And also I wanted to mention, because see, stories like this, you know, you may leave something out. What was in her wallet? Her wallet was left behind, but what's in the wallet and what ain't in there? Are any of her credit cards, debit cards missing? Because you don't need a human being to steal cards. I think most of you know this from dealing with fraud and hearing stories about fraud. I don't need you to steal from you. I don't need you to be walking with me nowhere. I just take your cards and go handle my business. Come on, let's keep it real now. You don't need Mrs. Guthrie to go run up to Walmart and buy up a bunch of stuff. You want to buy up a bunch of beer, Piggly Wiggly, or the 7-Eleven or whatever. You don't need her. You need her card. But you need her to tell you the PIN if you're trying to get a lump sum off that cards. And maybe that's where this became a struggle in the house, perhaps. Give me the pen, lady. Just give me the pen. And they got more angry because she's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. No. Get out of my house. Leave me alone. I haven't done anything to you. Why are you doing this to me? Lady, give me the pen. And then they got mad and hit her. Because you have seen this in true crime where the perpetrator didn't even get what they wanted. We've seen this in hotel robberies, store robberies. Ain't no money in the register. Ain't but a little bit of money in the register. And you done killed a whole person for $80, $60. $20, $5. Kill somebody on the street and they have a $10 in their pocket, in their wallet. Well, how do you know it dripped to the driveway? They have not said all that, Sony. And where are you getting all this? They left all that stuff to make it look like an abduction. Well, tell me where you're going with this, Sonny. Just break it down. What is your theory? What is your theory to why Mrs. Guthrie is missing? Who is the perpetrator? What is the motive? And where is she? Is she alive? I'll probably go ahead and put that on a poll. Is Mrs. Guthrie alive? This is no disrespect to the family, but we're now going into day 3. And if you're holding her, you haven't mentioned a ransom. Why are you holding her? To make her talk? She doesn't have her medicine, so she's probably getting sick. She has to have her meds. I won't doubt it's probably insulin. She's either taking blood pressure medicine or it's insulin. Insulin would probably be more what they would consider life-threatening. This ain't good. And you hate to think the worst. But I don't understand taking her out of the house. That's where I have the problem. I don't understand you being bold enough to be seen, because you're going to be apprehended because she has cameras. And the only way you're not going to be seen is if you were rambling around her house while she was at church and you dismantled the cameras, but you still had to park your car somewhere in order to get her out of that house. And even if you took her out deceased, let's say in a bag, a tote, oops, sorry, phone scared me. You had to take her out some type of way. As they said, she went out by another hand. So whether she walked out, was dragged out, pushed out, why? Why? She had medication to take every day for her life, so they think she's gone. Well, some people may not think she's gone. That would just be an assumption. People think she's deceased. We don't even know what the medicine is. I mean, I can only think of insulin, because sugar is a serious thing, keeping your levels regulated. And so some people probably going to think the lady's not alive just because it's days later and there has not been a ransom mentioned. And yes, she's taking medicine allegedly that's supposed to preserve her life. I just don't understand taking her out of the house. That's where I have the problem. Going to the house to do whatever it is that you were trying to do, and then leaving and taking her out, it sounds personal. It's very rare for a perpetrator to take a person out of the house. I have no need to take you out if I don't know you. Okay? I have no need to take you out if I don't know you, because nobody knows who I am. So if I'm a stranger to Mrs. Guthrie, I don't have no need to take her out. I have no need to take her out. If I went in with a hoodie, face cover, face mask, but still where there's a problem, you had to get her out. So even if you took her out alive, standing up, folded up, put in something, you still gonna be seen because you gotta put her in a car. What you gonna do? Drag her down the road by foot? She'd be heavy, she weighs 150 pounds. So we know you ain't dragging her by foot down the road and do what? Discard her and you just keep on walking by? She'd have been found by now. This is some baffling stuff. I'm gonna play you some more commentary. Most of the information is probably going to be similar because we don't know everything that law enforcement knows. But the first story I played was by News 12, the information. I'm going to play you some other content. I think this is ABC News. Once again, prayers to the Guthrie family and prayers to the community, because I'm sure many of these people are scared. They don't know what's going on. They don't have any idea what's going on with this family. Who has a problem with Mrs. Guthrie or her relatives or whatever the hell this is about. And they're scared too because they don't know anything. And I would be fearful too. I'm her neighbor and my neighbor's missing. Like, why is somebody messing with this 84-year-old lady? She's almost 100 years old, for God's sake. What could she have done to you? There should be nothing an 84-year-old has done to you that would make you go in here and put your hands on her and kidnap her. Come on. I don't care if she said something nasty to you. She cursed you out, called you a dirty name. Let it ride. Let it ride. It's not that serious.
Search for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities now saying they believe the 84-year-old was abducted from her Arizona home early Sunday, kidnapped while she was sleeping.
To be in your own bedroom, in your own
Early
bed,
Sunday.
safe and secure in your own home, and to be taken like that in the middle of the night, that is not Tucson.
Investigators releasing this bulletin with a QR code, requesting the public use it to send any information or photos.
She did not leave on her own. We know that.
The sheriff says they're now waiting for test results on DNA samples collected at the scene.
Nancy Guthrie's home is deep in suburban Tucson, and a lot of the neighborhood is shrouded by this desert wildlife. It would make it tough to notice activity going
Exactly.
on. But there are cameras at the house and at surrounding homes that the sheriff says they are reviewing, hoping to crack this case.
Officials say Guthrie does not have major concern. She's without her medication, which she needs to take every 24 hours. Law enforcement combing through her electronic devices, which experts say will be crucial to this case.
And no one does phones better than the FBI. And I bow to them and their experience. And plus their data systems as well help. Being so close to that Mexican border, it's relevant to talk about. Whether it has anything to do with it or not, we don't know right now. But it's relevant.
There could have been electronic devices left at home that she would normally have taken with her. Also, the way the home might have been left. Was it left in disarray?
The sheriff getting emotional during an interview late yesterday.
An 84-year-old woman disappeared on us. That's a challenge for us, and it's something that we just want her back. We'll give up. We'll get this.
Savannah Guthrie posted a new message overnight saying, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love, in hope. We believe in goodness." Ending the post with 3 words, "Bring her home."
Dance is more than just using your body.
Bring her home. Are you going to bring Mrs. Guthrie home, whoever you are out there? Why? Were you in this lady's house? Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm Queen. Queen gonna address you. Because the more I listen to these stories, the very reason why I tell you all, I don't like talking about true crime all the time. This is why Mrs. Nancy Guthrie. And I'm trying not to get emotional because this is scary as hell to me. Because no one is safe. In the end, the motive doesn't matter. In the end, it's not going to matter. Okay? Because when it's all said and done, if this is where I think it is gone, it's not going to matter. You don't know people. And desperate people do desperate things. And we hear these types of stories all the time, that it's a friend, it's a relative, it's a stranger. So let's address this commentary that the border is next door. I always tell people to think before you speak, because sometimes we just spew stuff out off our tongue before. You didn't walk in and see a bunch of foreigners sleeping in her house, lying out on the lawn chairs. Her wallet is left behind, her purse is left behind, her car. So a foreigner will probably take her car. Stay woke now. And then they had to get her somewhere. You got to remember, ding, 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 she's missing. So if she's missing, a foreigner ain't took her. How they going to take her? They're going to drag her down the street 150 pounds? No. So you could probably scratch the foreigner business. I'm going to go to my community page. And you're going to tell me what your thoughts pertaining to this crime. Because it is a crime scene. Homicide detectives are working the case. I'm assuming they believe it's a homicide. because what was left behind at the home, outside the home, and possibly looks like a massive amount of blood, which they're saying DNA. They don't want to say yet because there's a perpetrator walking around. So this is why you're not hearing every. They don't want him or her to know what they know. But I suspect we're going to get an arrest soon because she had cameras. Others had cameras. And as they also said about the surrounding, and I mentioned that also in the when you look at the shrubbery and everything of the house, you're not seeing anything going on unless you're just a nosy Ken or Karen and you're out lurking about trying to see who's going over the miss. With all that, cactuses and different type of, natural scenery, no, you can't see nothing. And for all I know, she got up, went outside. Maybe she went outside that morning, had a cup of coffee. See, we don't even know what time she was hurt or harmed or when this invasion took place or she let the person in. See, we don't know anything. They know, we don't. I don't know if she let them in. They were already there when she got home from church Saturday night or wherever she came, got dropped off. Don't know. It's pissing me off because this just don't make no sense to even be talking about an 84-year-old woman. And let me clarify, we shouldn't be talking about anybody, whether it's a child, elderly person. But 84, sweet Jesus, what could she have done to you? 84-year-old lady, come on now. Family, friend, 49%. Random, 16%. Person who knows of her, such as delivery person, mail carrier, 24%. Not sure, 11%. 37 people voted. Thank you for those who voted. Most of you believe it's a family or friend that harmed her inside of that house and took her out. Take the poll, everybody. Trying to bring you some commentary that's not so winded. Because everybody, the videos are so long. Also, I did a video yesterday on choosing a mate. This was addressed to the women. Would you prefer a wealthy man or a loyal man? 13% of you said wealthy, 88% said loyal. 32 votes. Thank you so much. Okay. We'll play a little more commentary. It's 59 minutes into this live stream. Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, welcome in everyone to a special live edition of Arizona Crime Uncovered, and we are doing this stream. We're going to bring in one of our reporters that works down in Tucson here in a little bit, but we are doing this stream because we are following the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, and that is the mom of today's show host, anchor Savannah Guthrie. Many people in Tucson know Savannah, and actually the reporter we're going to bring in met Savannah, met Nancy Guthrie just a little bit ago. So we want to get his insight because he has been on the ground covering this situation. It has rapidly evolved really within the last 24 hours since we have been covering it. The Pima County Sheriff's Department actually held a press conference this morning, Monday, February 2nd, sharing some details, sharing lots of new details, and they are saying that really 24 hours, this is critical time right now because Nancy Guthrie, she's 84, she needs some medication as well. We're going to play you some of the sound that we got from that press conference, break down what we know, take a look.
Because I live so close. Her house to the street, and talked to some detectives there. Yeah, it worried me because I know, what her age is, and I know what her personal living situation is. So that worried me. And it also worried me because I live so close.
Yeah. So that is a neighbor there who lives.
What is her personal situation? This is a lady speaking. And you also have to be careful with speaking on camera, showing yourself, because we have someone out here who has kidnapped this lady. Now, this person didn't say how close they live, but you said you went down. So that means you're in close proximity. You have to be very careful with showing yourself, just saying. And then you said, I know what her personal situation is. I'm assuming that's the health issue. What is her health issue? Heart condition, diabetic, what is it?
In the area, the Catalina Foothills area, in Tucson, just north of Tucson. We have Andrew Christensen. We're going to get back to that press conference sound, but he works for our sister station, KEGA 9, down in Tucson. And this is your location that you cover day in and day out. You were out there last night. Can you just first kind of describe this neighborhood to people that may live in Phoenix or other parts of the country and even world that don't know what this neighborhood is like?
Yeah, so this is a neighborhood that's a little bit more on kind of like the hilly part of Tucson. You can go up a few hills. There's a lot of nature, which is what I appreciate about this area. So there are a lot of people here who are from a higher economic status in this neighborhood, but when it turns dark at night, there's a lot of stars. They have a dark sky ordinance, so that means that people cannot have a certain amount of lights on at night, but that really is beneficial to seeing a lot of the stars at night. But in this case, it can make it
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear what he just said. This place has economic status, so that means the people are well off in this neighborhood. Number two, who cares about the stars in the sky? The stars in the sky ain't going no damn where. I've never heard of such. Well, we have a whole woman missing. So you don't have a well-lit area that's dangerous. That's like being out in rural America. Have y'all ever left the city and you're driving down one of the back roads? What do you notice? No lights. When you leave out of Knoxville and you go out into the county, there are no lights on the highway and the back roads because the county don't have a lot of lights. This is very dangerous because you need lights to see. Very reason why people run off the road, because they can't see. Somebody walking across the highway, they can't see. I don't care anything about no damn stars in the sky. You need street lamps in a neighborhood. People need to be able to read the damn ground, because sometimes they put your address on the curb or you have the number on your house. Well, if there are no lights, I can't see where your house is. Stay woke, everybody. And also, you're giving perpetrators a reason to choose the neighborhood because it ain't no lights. So you factor in the shrubbery, the nature scene of shrubberies, this Arizona scenery, plus darkness. It's a recipe for disaster. Sony Radcliffe, tell me why you think it is a relative. You have not said. Why is it family? We don't even know how much family she has living by her. We don't know if the daughter lives by. I don't know if the daughter lives down the street, around the corner, an hour away. Why would it be family? They have not told us she deals with a lot of family. We have not heard that she has a lot of visitors. That's a lot that has not been revealed about Mrs. Guthrie and her comings and goings and who's coming in and out of her house. But I'm addressing this young man here talking about the scenery. It's an upper level of economics. That's probably why the neighborhood was chosen. If it was a random person, they're out. They know that people have money. Two, it's dark. There's no street lights. The shrubbery can hide me coming in, driving my car, pulling up. Stay woke, everybody. If it's a stranger, let's say.
It's actually really hard, a lot harder to find Nancy Guthrie because it's just super dark at night. And honestly, with my light on last night when I was reporting, you could honestly still hardly see me. So it was really just tough.
He says he could hardly find the house. Well, guess what, young man? Somebody found her house. Checkmate. Come on with it, Queen. I could hardly see. I could hardly find her house. Well, that's funny. Somebody found Mrs. Guthrie's house. Shut your mouth. Sony says, I say family because the police has not earned any neighbors to be aware it's a killer on the loose. That leads me to someone she knew. Well, as I said before, Sony, to me, it don't matter who it is. You are desperate. That's my point. Whether it's a church member, friend, family, neighbor, somebody that frequent her house, deliver food, groceries, medicine, they are still out there. That's the point. And desperate people do desperate things. And if you the type that you don't want to be apprehended, you can't say right now, this person won't go out here and wow out, worrying about getting caught, being apprehended. They might decide to go down the street and do it to somebody else. They might go on the run. See, we don't even know who the hell it is. The point is, this is probably a desperate situation from the beginning. And if he or she or they think law enforcement is on their tail, it's no telling what they will do. That's my. And we've seen this happen. When it was D-Day and law enforcement is getting ready to make their move, some people wild out. And they don't mind taking down law enforcement. They don't mind taking down a canine dog, helicopter, drone. They don't care. I just saw this in Atlanta. They went to a hotel room to approach the person about fraud. So probably they use, somebody's credit card or something to rent a room, and all hell broke loose the other day. He done shot the police officers who went in his hotel room because he was caught. And one of them, he is dead. 25-year-old male from Pennsylvania, new to the force, Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department. He's dead. And the other one is in a hospital, the other officer. So you see, you can't say how it's going to end up. You can't say that this person's not a threat to other people, because people wild out when they think they are about to get arrested. They wild out when they're getting arrested. We have seen this happen. Sheriff knock on the door, they're executing a warrant. Next thing you know, you hear gunshots inside, they're shooting out windows. You don't know what people will do. This is just bad. And frankly, what you're going to hear in this commentary is what I've already repeated. I'm tired of hearing about how nice the area is. I don't care that wealthy people lived here. I don't care that they're middle class, upper middle. Who cares? I get it. You're trying to set the scene. They're trying to set the tone. Oh, it's a nice area. Oh, the people are well off. Well, one of those well-off people, she missing.
From what the sheriff said, to find Nancy and, really go into some of the details that they should have had during the day, because it's just so hard to see.
Yeah, and then you think about the desert landscape, which is something that we talk about up here in the Phoenix area and the valley as well, just how vast the desert is, how difficult it can be to search. So I do want to, before we continue, go through some of the information. Now, we're going to play you some of that press conference sound. I think we're pulling it up. But I do want to let you know that they believe that this home that Nancy Guthrie lived in is a crime scene. And that is what they told us. They don't believe she walked away on her own. They believe that there are some suspicious things that they found that lead them to believe this. So, Cortland, our digital director, let me know if you have that sound. Let's try and play that press conference sound again.
Saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. Now, after we process that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes.
Sorry about that. Commercials. So they do believe it's a crime scene.
Suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. We can't really get into
into a whole lot of details with that.
Do you believe that this was targeted, or it just happened to Savannah Guthrie's mom, or this was just random?
We don't know that. We don't. We look at all of that.
They don't know. Targeted or random.
We need to find her. And time is very critical. She's 84. She needs her meds. Her family needs her too.
Oh man. Crazy.
Okay, so let's go through a few other details we learned. They do have cameras in the home. They're going through that. That was as of this morning. Nancy does have a cell phone. They are going through that as well. Other agencies have been alerted to this, and they talked about leaning on technology, license plate readers, cameras, things like that. They're urging anyone with camera footage, if they can go through it and look through it, call in tips, make sure you are letting the sheriff's department know about anything. Andrew, you were out there for this search last night. They talked about how extensive this was, having drones, showing us a map actually of the search that was taking place. When you saw all that playing out, I'm sure you saw neighbors, we've heard from neighbors, but when you saw all that playing out in the neighborhood that you cover, what was that like to cover yourself?
Well, it's obviously really sad, and honestly, just a sad situation because I did get to meet Nancy. When I was watching what was playing out, I really was just getting this overwhelming sense of, hey, this is such a small community in a kind of larger city, but it's one that really comes together, and I've seen that on social media through some of the well wishes that people have really been giving the Guthrie family. So when I was on scene, it was a little bit more low-key. Like I said, it was a pretty dark neighborhood, so some of the things that you may have seen in a traditional crime scene, you weren't really getting to see if you were pretty far away, so they didn't even have their their deputy lights on at the time. So really there's a lot of sentiment of, this is a tight-knit community, especially in the foothills where a lot of older people live, so they've lived there for years, and a sentiment of this is just a really sad situation that we never wanted to see.
Yeah, and you talk about the community stepping up. We heard at that press conference that it was actually Nancy Guthrie's church who originally called and said, hey, she's not here. They called her family, and that kind of prompted everything for her family to start looking for her. And that's people that know her routine, that are a part of that community, and you heard from some of the neighbors there. I want to touch upon, you also said, and we were talking about this before doing our live stream.
Let me stop right here. So once again, dark area, no lights, deputy sitting on the scene, his lights off, probably a reason, maybe to check to see if somebody would decide they want to come back, because killers and perpetrators are known to come back. Not to say that she's dead, but just saying, perpetrators are known to go back to the scene. Maybe they forgot something, dropped something, but this is, to me, a dark area. This may be the reason why the place was targeted if it's not somebody that knows Nancy. I want to know the person that dropped her off the night before on that Saturday. Who is that person? What do they know? What was the mood of Nancy? What did they talk about? How was the ride? How did the house look to this person when they pulled up? See, all that's going to matter. What does the house look like on the inside when the family got there, when the sheriff or whoever got there? What did the house look like on the outside, inside? Was the door open, door closed? Broken? If there were security cameras on the outside, were they broken? Were they covered up, spray painted? Inside, table knocked over, glassware thrown, what? Chairs knocked over, what? Her room, what did it look like? Bed made, unmade. Drawers open, closed, what? Cabinet doors, kitchen open, ransacked. All that matters. All that matters. Where was she when this person came in? Bathtub, bathroom, bed, living room, den, sitting outside, what? What time of day was it? What time did the person make entry into Mrs. Guthrie's home? Lots of questions. And once again, to address Sony, the police are not telling anybody anything. They don't owe the neighbors no explanation about nothing. They don't have to tell them anything. You just heard in this commentary, they don't know if this is random or personal. So they don't have no reason to tell the people, hey, don't worry, we know who did it. You're safe. They just here. They answer a reporter's question. We do not know if it is personal or if it is random. But as I said to you all, the fact that the person has not been apprehended, you should be worried in that neighborhood and anywhere else, because we do not know who this person is. So to me, it don't matter who it is. They have hurt an elderly person and they are poof, 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 gone. So it don't matter to me if it's a sister, a brother, a cousin, a child, a neighbor, a church member. Don't matter. They did something horrific and they ain't came forward to say what the fuck happened in that lady's house. How about that? Nothing. Hey, I want to tell you what happened. I didn't mean to do it. I pushed her, I hurt her, I hit her. They ain't said nothing. So to me, it don't matter who it is. Is this a break-in? Door pushed in, window broke, kicked in, door drilled in. I'm asking all the questions. But once again, what's disturbing in this commentary, you're hearing dark area, not well lit. That's a perpetrator's dream. No matter who the perpetrator is, they ain't gonna see me. It's dark out here. They ain't even got lights. They're not gonna make out my car. We don't even know how the person was dressed that entered her house, how they entered her house. They could have had on a hoodie, could have had on a face mask, could have had on a COVID mask. We don't even know. Were the cameras dismantled? So you gotta know all that. And I still find it strange, whether it's a person that knows Nancy or not. Why in the world would you risk it with the cameras? It's bizarre to me.
That you actually met Nancy and Savannah. I know that Savannah, if people have watched anything she's been a part of, she has shared a little bit about her relationship with her mom, and you got to meet them. So what was that like? And it must be so jarring to meet someone and then have this happen where she's missing.
Well, these commercials are getting to me. I'm sorry about that. Good Lord.
Thought that I would be reporting on a missing person that I actually met. So I met her back in October. I know the restaurant owner where they were filming the Today Show for the Tucson segment. So I was invited over to come watch them film. And I actually got a video of Savannah saying, you know, I love you to her family. She also had her sister there. So when I look back at that, it just kind of strikes a chord because I was there witnessing just how much love that they had for each other. And the mom, Nancy, really, you know, kind of touted her success and said, hey, Savannah's been doing really good. She actually was an intern at KG9 where I work at. So she has deep roots in the Tucson community. So just seeing that I actually got to meet somebody who is missing now, it just really strikes a chord in me. And it's just something that is super sad.
Yeah, and I think we do have some video of Nancy here, if we can pull it up, ones that you took when you met her. We'll see if we can pull that up and just play that anytime. Here it is. Oh. Yeah, there you have.
Yeah.
Savannah and her mom there, Nancy. And you can see, you know, like I was talking about, we have Savannah, who is deeply rooted in the Tucson community. I was actually just talking to a member of our photography team who was like, oh, well, I did work with Savannah at one point because he worked in Tucson. And he was like, oh, she won't remember me, but we worked together for a few months before she left the Tucson area. And so, you know, you'll find that time and time again, and people that have, you know, at least heard her story or watch her now and know that she's connected. I do want to let you know, they asked about that at the press conference. People were asking, is Savannah here? She has apparently come back, obviously very concerned about her mom. They have been in touch with a security team with Savannah, and they don't know of any threats to Savannah, but people, you know, thinking about that, thinking about her family. I want you, again, to talk to us about this community. This is one that you talk to day in, day out. We heard from a neighbor. They're now very concerned. You're going to actually go out. We have some reporters that are there now as they are still searching for Nancy. What is the general, you know, feeling? I know you're going to go out there today, but what is the general feeling of this close-knit community? I'm sure you're worried.
Very worried because Savannah very much represents Tucson, and she got a lot of those traits from her mom. So when we hear that Savannah Guthrie's mom is missing, it's a really big concern because she's such a proud part of the Tucson community, and a lot of people know that. They watched the Today Show. They watched her here in Tucson as she went on from Tucson to other stations and then the Today Show. So really, it's just this sentiment of sadness, and what hurts Savannah hurts us as well because she very much represents Tucson. And I feel like when she did that segment a few months ago about Tucson, it really well represented our community. And so not just the foothills are a tight-knit community, but also Tucson overall.
Yeah. And I think that, naturally when we hear of someone who is 84 years old missing, there are concerns about could they have wandered away. We have been told adamantly that Nancy is someone who is sound mind. I think they said sharp as a tack this morning when they were talking about her mental capabilities. She does have some physical things. They don't believe with those could walk away, and they believe that she did not walk away by herself, and that is because of some suspicious things that they saw at the home, and we don't know all of the details yet. Obviously, I think we're going to be working to get some of that information, but a lot to go through today in terms of technology, and we have a crew out there that are going to be there on the ground. And I think we have some video from today that will show a little bit better this community. If there's a way that we could show.
If you want to verify this information, because naturally I'm not showing the video, this is 15 live. I'm not going to hold you all. I just wanted you all to get a little bit of information pertaining to the area, how they're describing the area, and all that matters as well, because whether it is a random person or somebody that knows Mrs. Guthrie, all those things come into play. How am I going to get into this home? Number one, she going to let me in. I'm going to have to break in. I'm going to have to lie in wait. Naturally, all this will make sense when we get a suspect named, naturally. But the police are not going to tell us anything of relevance pertaining to the crime scene, what's on the outside, what was on the inside, such as what they noticed on the inside for them to say she was taken, something went down inside of this place, why this is now a crime scene. What was inside? Like I said, furniture knocked over, blood, what? Drawers open, cabinet doors open, furniture thrown about, turned over. Did she have fingernails on, fake fingernails? Did you see any fingernails popped off, broke off? All that matters. Hair, was any of her hair on the floor? All that's going to matter. And naturally, blood from both perpetrator and Mrs. Guthrie. This is bad. And not just because she has a famous daughter. The point is she's a human being. And as I said, nothing could have been that serious that it would lead to physical assault and an abduction. So to me, the motive doesn't matter. We're curious. I'm curious to the motive naturally because I'm a human being. But nothing could be this serious for you to be putting your hands on somebody that's almost 100 years old. Whether it was a misunderstanding, you were trying to keep her calm, maybe she started screaming, maybe she threatened to call the police, I'm gonna call my daughter, I'm gonna call my son, I'm gonna call whomever. They panicked. It's a robbery, they were asking for money. See, we don't know. The point is, nothing was serious enough for us to be discussing, that's my point. An 84-year-old woman accosted in her home, beat up, pushed down, shot, whatever happened to her, alive, deceased. We shouldn't even be discussing this. They got a ransom note? Okay, let me go in and look at my phone for an update. Hold on a minute. This is one coming from New York Post. Let me see what they're saying.
Blood was found in the home of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie's missing 84-year-old mom, according to a report, with the local sheriff confirming that authorities fear a possible kidnapping or abduction and becoming emotional in an interview while talking to police.
Do you believe you are still looking for Nancy Guthrie alive at this point?
We're just not gonna give up hope. We hope she's out there somewhere.
So you still believe this is an active rescue mission at this point?
We hope so.
Law enforcement sources told the Los Angeles Times that the blood was found alongside signs of forced entry in her home, although it was not immediately confirmed whose blood it was. According to authorities, a relative made a 911 call around noon on February 1st to report Nancy Guthrie was missing after she failed to show up for a church service. She was last seen returning from dinner at her home in Catalina Foothills, north of Tucson, at around 9:30 p.m. on January 31st, authorities said. At this point, investigators believe she was taken from her. Guthrie was not known to have illnesses such as dementia or Alzheimer's and was of good sound mind. However, she was described as being in not of good physical health. She cannot walk more than 50 yards on her own and is reliant on life-saving medication, a lack of which for 24 hours could prove fatal, making the hunt a race against time. On Monday, February 2nd, authorities confirmed the case was officially being investigated as a crime.
It is a crime scene. We know that. She did not leave on her own. We know that.
Her daughter, Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, skipped the February 2nd Monday episode of the NBC Morning Talk Show. However, she shared a statement that was aired regarding her mom being missing.
On behalf of our family, I want everyone for thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom.
The feds have since been moved in on the search. NBC crime reporter
hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Today's show.
They were able to get out helicopters last night that use infrared cameras. They've got drones up. They've enlisted the help of the Customs and Border Protection, obviously not too far from the border there in Mexico. They have some special resources. The FBI is also aware of this case as well.
Nancy has made various guest appearances on Today over the years since Savannah joined the show in 2011.
She loves us, her family fiercely, and her selflessness and sacrifice for us, her steadfastness and her unmovable confidence is the reason any of us grew up to do anything.
Much love for Nancy Guthrie by her children. I'm trying to pull up this information about the ransom note. Hold on one second. Oh, Lord. This has an update. Let me see if this is in. I can't hear his voice, it's too light. Hold on.
Generalities. Not used to my words and then trying to hold me accountable for what I say. But I understand. So we're going to try our best to be succinct with you in the future. And also more important for you to understand is we have a lot of work in front of us. We have a job to do. And we have someone's life who is in jeopardy. And so job number one is we got to find her and we got to work hard to do that. I understand there's great attention on this, and rightfully so, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for it because it has generated a lot of leads for us.
So it has to do with the daughter.
And so we're tracking those leads, and we're doing things with evidence that you would expect us to.
So it wasn't a family member.
So
But this
having
could
said
be-
that, we're going to set this up. I know that a number of you yesterday,
I don't know. Is it real?
you guys drove me crazy. Yesterday I was going from AM to all the way to 9, 10,
Stretch my
11
legs.
midnight, answering concerns, questions, and it's just too tough. And it's not fair to the case. So what I'm going to tell you is today we're
Come
going
on,
to do
honey.
this
Get to the point,
similar to
honey.
what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Here we'll take questions. It's not really my briefing, it's your briefing. You'll be able to ask us some questions. We'll probably shut you off after a while because they just can't be here all
Right,
day.
yeah.
We'll set up with you through our PIO teams to give you anything that comes up that might change, but clearly
Let me type
that
in
will
some more
notify you
information.
on these what I call media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work. Hello, I'm John Edwards. My spelling is JONEDWARDS. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we're providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help. If you live in the area or saw something on Saturday night, the 31st of January, or Sunday morning, the 1st of February, please report it to the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Every lead and tip is important. We are aggressively pursuing and looking into every single one. Again, please help us bring Nancy Guthrie home. Thank you. We'll take some questions.
Sheriff, is there any indication so?
This is by Us Weekly. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has addressed the possibility of a ransom being the motive for the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie. No, there's not. We've not heard anything like that. Nanos exclusively told Us Weekly on Monday, February 2nd, when asked whether there was a possible motive. I wish somebody would call us and say, hey, because that's what the family wants. They just want her back. Hey, no questions asked. Okay, hold on. I don't know why this is jumping off. Great. Come on now. Let's see. Nanos exclusively told Us Weekly on Monday, February 2nd. There was a possible motive. I wish somebody would call us and say, hey, because that's what the family wants. They just want her back. Hey, no questions asked. Call us where to come and get her, and we'll do that. Nanos added they would never rule out any possibilities, but there's nothing to indicate a demand for ransom money at this time. Now, let me... Oh, this stuff keeps jumping up. This is uploaded today, February 3rd. Let's finish hearing what they have to say. I don't know what's going on. Everybody wants to call TMZ.
We'll take some questions.
Sheriff, is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or targeted?
It's like I said earlier, we're looking at all the leads, and we don't know. We're going to assume
He
both
said he
sides.
don't know.
We'll look at both sides.
Sheriff, what Nancy Guthrie was wearing, or the type of car that she might have left from her, any identifiable information that the public could use to help with those tips?
We do not.
Sheriff, do you believe that one or more than one person was involved in the kidnapping?
I just no clue. It could have been more.
Is there any indication
indication that Nancy Guthrie is still alive. We know the medication played a critical role here. It's like 48 hours. She needs it every single day. Are you looking for someone that is still alive?
We hope we are. We hope we are.
Sheriff said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so there, when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sheriff, when you reference violence at site, can you elaborate on that? And also, was there a sign of forced entry, any valuables taken, any bank or ATM cards used after a disappearance?
We're not getting into that. What I tell you is, like any crime scene, we process this crime scene. We gather all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us. And we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
Did you find DNA that did not belong in that house?
The window of time from when she was last seen to when she was reported missing, and I know you guys are asking for help from the public, is there any way to narrow down what time you might be offline? I know there was a report about a pacemaker dinging like around 2 o'clock in the morning. Is there any way to indicate to people, hey, look around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. to help them?
You know, I really don't want to get into narrowing down the time, because narrowing it down means we can miss some tips and leads. We're working on with the data we've submitted for investigative analysis. We're working to see if that time can be tightened up. But for now, we're going with what we told you earlier. She was dropped off at 9:30, and she was found to be missing at about 11 o'clock Sunday morning.
Sheriff, DNA have anyone else found in the house?
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
Anybody strange in the neighborhood where you're looking at video of different surveillance camera to that we should be looking out at different cars?
I have nothing in that regard.
Have any demands been made by kidnappers?
We have all kinds of investigative leads we're working on.
Sheriff, we noticed that the camera on the front
So he's denying it. We're not saying anything about a ransom.
We're looking into that as well. Yes, sir.
Fully processed.
He ain't telling nothing.
Like around 6 o'clock last night, we had seen tape go up. An Amazon driver was able to walk right up to the door. Is that pretty standard for how you handle this?
The scene's done. We're done with the residents. If we need to go back to get, maybe we want to do something with some other piece of evidence there, family, let them know. But we have turned that over to the family. I don't have the time, but it was sometime yesterday, I believe.
Were there any tire tracks or any footprints around the house?
No.
Was there any? Could you please take us through the timeline that you've established of the events so far, and with as much detail?
9:30, 9:45, we were told she was left at her home by the family. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the family got notice from somebody at church that she was not at church. They went to the home, found her to be missing. That's the timeline. From Saturday night, 9:45, we'll say, to Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Let me get somebody back here, please.
Have you interviewed the people that reported her missing, the people from the...
That's the family, from the church as well. We're doing all kinds of interviews, yes, I'm sure we have.
Have you been able to access the footage from the cameras at the house?
That's all been submitted, and we're doing our best with those companies who own those cameras or built those cameras.
Do you plans to release those videos from the cameras from the surveillance? Is there any plans to release the video from the cameras, surveillance footage?
We don't even have them yet, so no, not at this time. It's an active investigation.
There's a report of a suspicious man a few doors down last week. Is that anything that you guys are aware of?
I'm not aware of it. My detectives may be. There's a lot of detective work being done, and I just can't get into those. We even discussed with you what they may or may not have learned.
For report from the board yesterday, are there specific resources that maybe the board has not granted enough of made a difference responding to this case?
Well, that's getting into my own local politics. I apologize. Yes, the board a few weeks ago denied a request for more cameras, more drones, more AI capabilities with our own body-worn cameras. All those things, you'd have to talk to the board.
Tell the business to everybody to know. You don't have cameras in the neighborhood. I mean, you know, street lights. Stupid.
Do we believe?
Is she still in this area, or is there somewhere else?
Stupid.
We don't know where she is. So we're like any investigation. Just start from the point of where we last saw her, and we work out, and we're working as far out as we can go.
Sheriff, have you watched her? The evidence of forced entry of the house, like any broken windows or whatever? Does it seem like people just went in and out?
There are concerns at the house that concerned us from the early on part of this investigation, and that's all I will tell you. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Is there any history with Nancy needing police at her place, or concerns where she was worried about somebody following her? Or
You know, our investigative team has looked into all of those things, and that has not been brought to my attention. So she may have had something like that, but I'm not aware of it.
What is the extent of collaboration with the federal government? Obviously, FBI is here. CBP, are there other agencies also?
CBP's role in this was in our search and rescue mission, where we constantly use them. They have great dogs too. Our dogs aren't tracking dogs for this. Theirs are, and so they came out and did that. Anybody else though that we've asked for help from, whether it's the FBI, I know if we needed help from CBP or DEA or ATF, they would gladly give it. I've heard from leadership from all sorts of agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the state. Every one of them saying, Sheriff, you need anything, we're here.
Sure. So you obviously said investigators, when they got on scene, they found suspicious circumstances. When the family called originally to report her missing, did they say anything about the state of the home?
I don't know that. I don't know.
I was wondering that too. Did they see anything?
People
Family?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so there was blood that was found inside the house, and you're testing it for
Anybody
DNA.
go to
How
the
much
house?
blood and where was it?
I'm not saying there's blood inside that house or outside that house. What I'm saying is our team processed a scene like you would think of any crime scene. We go in and we process. We look for things
So he's
like
not admitting blood or anything.
DNA, any kind of physical fingerprints, anything, and all of that is gathered and submitted to a lab. That lab will report back to us what they find. So from that lab is nothing that would tell us this
He's not
is
telling
what it
us.
is.
We'll take a couple more questions, and then the sheriff's got to go.
Sure. Can you walk through the evidence that was found at the scene in as much detail as possible?
No, I cannot.
He can't tell you nothing.
You said some of it is in the cloud.
He ain't admitting to a ransom note. He ain't admitting to nothing.
They're saying they're cooperating. Why do you not have the surveillance footage?
That's what I tell them. How come I don't have this? Where's my evidence? It is a process, and I'm sorry, but you know, we're grateful that there's large corporations and companies who have bent over backwards to help us to say, hey, sure, tell us what you need. And so, yeah, I can't
get this information out there.
And we've asked them. They know the urgency here, but I'm like you. What do you mean I don't know that now? Yeah, it's tough.
On an answer that you gave earlier, you were asked if there was any ransom, and you didn't say no. You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We're following all leads we have. That's all I can tell you. We've got hundreds of leads, and it's from you.
He don't even want to tell you that a ransom note came in. But I want to get to that.
We need help, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not going to get into all that. We have a team designated to deal with all of our leads. They're looking into
Why you send it to TMZ if it's true?
We are sharing all of our leads.
Why you send it to the police department?
They are helping us in evaluating those leads, how good they are, where that priority should be.
Stupid.
And so we just, but look, I know you guys are doing your job, and you're doing a great job, but we have a job to do too.
Playing around with
And
84-year-old
I
women's
really need to back away from this for a while, and we'll see you, unless something breaks, we'll see you Thursday morning. PIO will give you a time frame, I'm guessing somewhere around 11:30.
I need your emails. If you are not on the email list, get with me in the corner. I'll be right by the sheriff's line, okay?
All right, everybody. I got this information from, let's see, this press conference was uploaded an hour ago, PBS News Hour. All right, let's get to the TMZ news that one of the chat members have put in the chat. He's not addressing anything about a ransom, evidence, security cameras, nothing, because they don't want the information out, and that's understandable. We're not going to tell you nothing because somebody's out there with this lady, so we're not letting them know nothing, that we know nothing, because they know they're investigating this crime, whoever is behind this abduction of this lady. Now the volume's not playing. Well,
Things they're saying.
hold on, everybody.
So we got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific
And
request
they're very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also they say at the bottom, there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
It's us.
we know what we're
Yeah.
talking about here.
So we've contacted
Us.
the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke
And
with
that's ridiculous.
is now forwarding this
Two
to
people work for the
somebody
sheriff's
in the
department.
detective bureau.
Oh, I'm getting
so
started.
if my phone rings, I may have to stop and.
What's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and it's again, we don't know.
We don't know if
it's
this is
authentic,
legit, right.
if it's authentic or not. But when you read it, they're acting as if, only we would know these things, and we're serious.
Well, what are
and
these
there's
things?
a dollar demand and an or else in there.
You're not gonna
So
tell us?
we will let you know as this thing kind of develops.
Okay, so the person in the chat that put this information, Miss Sony, I've given you that information. The sheriff is not acknowledging a ransom note. He's not acknowledging evidence. He's not acknowledging security cameras, what they seen, not seen. As I told you, it could be anybody that committed this crime. But the one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to acknowledge, and this is to the sheriff, police department, whoever is over this jurisdiction, please put some fucking lights in the neighborhood. I don't care if it's an urban neighborhood, the hood, it's upper class, it's middle class, it's wealthy. Everybody deserves street lights. Nobody should be living anywhere. That's an apartment, condo, trailer, shed. There should be street lights on a fucking street. Because I won't doubt, if this is true, whether it was for ransom or not, they watched her. They knew who she was. Because what is the one thing everybody kept repeating in the commentary that I played? We're a tight-knit community. We look out for one another. Well, who was looking out for Nancy Guthrie Saturday night, Sunday morning? Checkmate. If they pushed their way in, the security camera didn't matter. What did I say about that? What are we really talking about? You were bold enough to make your way in the house and you saw she had security cameras, so you said, I don't give a fuck, because you were dressed up to where nobody could identify you. Stay woke now. And then you have to count how long it takes to get police ambulance to a home. And this is what's so strange. It was like my intuition knew something was brewing out here in America, because I was saying to myself yesterday, I don't ever want to live in the middle of nowhere. I don't ever want to live where there are no houses nearby. And I kept thinking there was nobody near her, but the area view they showed, there's some houses surrounded behind her, swimming pool behind her house, another house behind there. There are houses. Worst case scenario, the way, if this is the actual house, she could have, got to somebody's house. She might have been moving slow, but she would eventually got there. I thought it was a place secluded where there's nobody nearby. Take 15, 20 minutes to get to the nearest house by foot. But you all have told the story about what the neighborhood looks like. You've given a perpetrator ammunition, whether it's Savannah Guthrie's mother or not. You just told it in the information I played. Ain't no street lights. I couldn't find my way. I got lost going up there to report the story. But yet, the kidnappers found Mrs. Guthrie's house and made their way in to get her. Checkmate. Queen walk, baby. So whether this is about the mother, the daughter being a millionaire and wealthy, and they thought they can get some money and a ransom note, the point is somebody made their way on that dark street to Mrs. Guthrie. Checkmate. Whether it's about her being famous or not, because if the other people are well-to-do, it could be the same situation. We're going in here to rob these people, get jewelry, TVs, whatever the hell we can get. We're thirsty. We're desperate. The point is, the fucking place is dark. That's my point. And the fact these people are asking the questions in the news conference about the board, and he's telling them, well, you need to call the board and talk to them about why there ain't no street lights. They could sue these people, the city. Hell yeah. The Guthrie family can sue. You don't even got street lights. Can't nobody even find her house except calling and saying, am I getting close? Am I getting close? Where you at? Okay, I'll flip the lights on so you know it's my house. You've seen people do that. They'll tell you, I'll be flipping the lights on and off to let you know it's my house, because people can't even see. And I remember when I was doing delivery for a certain company years ago, and I was going out in rural areas that were, I'm telling you, were not safe, whether you were a man or a woman. I mean, I was in the thick of rural America, delivering food to people. I couldn't even see nothing. I couldn't see the road. I'm literally on a street. I couldn't see the road. I just knew there were houses to my right, to my left. But I couldn't even make out numbers on the house. That's dangerous. That's dangerous for somebody living there. That's dangerous for people doing deliveries at night. You can't even see the road to know to turn into a driveway. And I'm like, oh, I'm not about to tear up my damn car. Don't even know how to turn into a driveway. Because, you know, here in Tennessee, we have trenches. So if you miss just a couple of inches, your ass is down in a ditch. Because a lot of people driveways are separated by trenches. So you need to be able to see to turn directly onto the pavement to park in their driveway. You all gave these kidnappers Mrs. Guthrie on a silver platter because ain't no lights out there. The reporter just told that. You heard the person asking the sheriff that in this commentary, and he's telling her, well, direct that to the board about the street lamps and it being dark. I bet you somebody put some light poles out there now. We talk about this all the time. You don't want to be a window of opportunity for a perpetrator. You don't want to give them what they want. And that goes for posting to social media, talking about your comings and going into public places, talking about who you're related to. Oh, my son plays for the Raiders, or my son plays for the Miami Dolphins, and he'll be in town tomorrow, and he just bought me a house, or he just put a deck on my house. Shut your mouth. We as people have got to stop talking. We have got to stop talking. And I get it, sometimes we like to brag. We like to brag and boast about our accomplishments. We like to boast and brag about our children and our relatives, what they're doing, their accomplishments. But you can be sending this information to the wrong person out there in the universe, because there is always somebody watching. And obviously, just from what I've played you, they have set the tone for why we are listening to this story about an 84-year-old woman missing. Because you all are tight-knit in Tucson, in this area. You're well off. You ain't got no street lights on. Somebody knew that. Hey, you go up there on such and such hill, they ain't got no lights on up there. The people got money up there. Oh, NBC correspondent mama live up there. Let's get together. Let's get this money. Google, 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 Google. You go in this Google right now. It tells you everything. Who somebody was married to, where they were born. Did you know that this girl and her family lived in Australia, Melbourne? They came over to the United States. The father, I guess, was in the military. Raised the children over there. They moved over here. They've been in the Arizona area for many years. This motherfucker is dangerous. Wikipedia. Name, birthday, mother's name, daddy's name, how many times a person's been married, if the parents are divorced, brother, sister's names. I got all that before going live. Are you all listening to what I'm saying to you? I got all that from all of this and what I'm filming through. So if I got all that from Google, imagine what the perpetrators have heard without Google. Like somebody was saying on their podcast, people talk, people carry information, and people don't know who's listening, they're speaking. Half of that fucking town knows that woman lives up there on that hill and she's the mother of a very wealthy woman. Checkmate. They're talking about it at the church. They're talking about it on the local news. They're talking about it in town at the restaurant. You heard that, the young reporter, he's met these people before. They're showing you pictures of them at the restaurant in town. They're filming them. Stay woke. And the wrong persons have gotten wind of this information about Savannah Guthrie and Nancy Guthrie. Oh, she works for NBC. She works on the Today Show. She's got mega money. As somebody put in the chat, she's worth $8 million. Now, you already know this is her mother. She loves her mother. Her mother is well taken care of for 84. She ain't hurting for nothing. So you're assuming it don't matter if mommy got money in that house in a safe, that daughter got money. And you want your mama back, you gonna give up the goods. But everybody knows the worst case scenario dealing with a ransom. Many times the person is already deceased when the ransom note has hit the airwave. Most times the people are caught because you have to be very savvy to conduct a ransom. We have too many cameras and an eye in the sky. Where are you going to ask for the money to be dropped off and think the FBI ain't trailing that fucking money bag? Stay woke, everybody. Don't know if it's legitimate or not, but I can tell you, if you're listening, you ain't about to get no money from Mrs. Guthrie. This could be a ploy because the deed has already been done. And this is no disrespect to the family, but we're just keeping it real. A lot of ransom, kidnapping, it's a ploy because the deed has already been done to the victim. And now they want to play mind games. You're not going to get any money from Mrs. Guthrie because it's not going to work out in your favor. You're not going to get any money. Only thing you're going to get is a fucking prison sentence and possibly a death penalty case. That's about all you're going to get. So if you do have Mrs. Guthrie, I pray that she's alive for your sake. Because as somebody said on their podcast last night, you've already doomed yourself by one, going in her house, putting your hands on her. God forbid you unalived her in that house or at the house. You've kidnapped her. That's a whole nother charge. So if you broke in, as we're hearing, the house was broken into, that's charge number one. You moved her 2 feet in the house, that's kidnapping. It's kidnapping even if she never came outside. Did you all know that? We have that law here in Tennessee. If I'm standing in the kitchen and you shoved me into the living room, that's kidnapping. You took me outside that door, kidnapping. Now you got to ask yourself, where is she? Has she been transported to another state, another jurisdiction? Now you're talking about crossing state lines. That's another charge. So that's like somebody said last night. You done went too damn far. Because you were desperate. If indeed this is true, this is a kidnapping for money. It's not going to work in your favor. So you bum rushing this old lady, putting your hands on her, taking her out of the house. You've left DNA, her DNA. You shouldn't have done it. Because you ain't about to get nothing. So if Mrs. Guthrie is alive, and I pray that she is, take her back to her house, take her to the nearest stop sign, take her somewhere, and dial 911 and say, Mrs. Guthrie is on the side of the road, she at the Shell station. Do yourself a favor and drop that old lady out somewhere. Because let me tell you something with your dumb ass. You're going to go down either way. Because the woman is sickly. And they're saying she can't even go 24 hours without her meds. So she could die on your watch to show you how stupid you are. She dies on your watch, you going down, honey. You and your friends. So let's talk about that, and I'm checking out of here. If you got a co-conspirator, y'all sitting ducks right now because y'all trying to figure out how to get the fuck out this situation because you shouldn't have done it in the first place. She's sick. She ain't well. You weren't thinking, you didn't get her medicine. This wasn't a good idea. Oh, they scurrying like rats. Whoever the grand master of this farce, you're a sinking ship. Whoever went along with the orchestrator, you on a sinking ship. Because ain't nobody getting ready to give you a pass for no 84-year-old lady. I can tell you that now. You think you're getting ready to go to the district attorney and say, I'll be the first to talk, because you know that's usually the rule. The first one that hollers gets the plea. Lesser charge. What you gonna say? I didn't have no idea it was an old lady. I thought we was just going to some rich person's house to get a couple of dollars. I didn't mean to do it. He talked me into it. It was all his idea. It was all his idea. I didn't know it was an elderly lady. I didn't know her daughter was famous. I promise you I didn't know. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. You get ready to eat a lot of bologna sandwiches, honey. You're going to want to talk to TMZ, the news, and give your version. Wasn't me, I promise it wasn't me. I just thought it was somebody else. I thought it was a younger couple that had some money. I didn't know. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. More than likely you didn't know. You and your cohorts. This was a bad idea, honey. This was a really bad idea. Because I got a feeling all of you who were involved, you knew whose house you were going to. You had been watching Mrs. Guthrie And due to the fact the information I've brought you, with the reporter telling you what the area looked like, how he got lost trying to get to their house, that tells you everything you need to know. You knew that it was dark up there. You knew that wealthy people lived up there. You also knew that Mrs. Guthrie lived there and who she was related to. Checkmate. You knew that there were no street lights. You knew there was a lot of brush surrounding all of the houses. You knew that she had been gone. You all had been watching Mrs. Guthrie and waiting on the right time to pounce. You knew nobody was coming to her house. And you were going to use all force necessary because you did that by breaking and entering. If that information is true. And that's the scary part of this story. Nobody's coming to check on Mrs. Guthrie in the night. Nobody's spending the night. She's thinking she's safe in her home with a security system. But as you see, security cameras did not do nothing. And if a person is bold enough to break in your house with a security system, not knowing if bells gonna start ringing and somebody's gonna start speaking on the intercom, stay away, door open. You still carried your ass in there anyway. That means you didn't give a fuck and you didn't care about going down to hurt an 84-year-old lady. So, Sheriff, let the Queen tell you, they are a threat. They are a threat. Because you ain't apprehended their asses. And if they were desperate to go in this house of an 84-year-old, they are really desperate now. Ransom note, no ransom note. Pookie, Ray, Bubba, whoever the hell it is. Because they don't want to get caught. They thought they planned this out. So all I'm going to say is, I pray she's alive. Because you took her out of there and didn't even think, ma'am, do you need some medicine? Woo. We're going to be holding you for a little while. You didn't give a fuck. And that's how you're going to get treated when you get caught. The deputies, they ain't going to give a fuck about you when you get put in that hole. Then you sit here scrambling trying to figure out what your defense is going to be. You ain't going to never see daylight. All because you wanted to get some pennies that didn't belong to you. And you were willing to sacrifice an elderly lady, worry her family in the neighborhood, in the town, and your own freedom for money that you did not work for, you did not earn, and it does not belong to you. People, please be aware of your faculties. Beware of what you post to social media. Beware of talking about your personal business, your children's business, your family's business, telling your comings and going, talking about people who got money that are related to you, because that is the one thing that we know. Everybody in this fucking town knows that lady is related to a wealthy person that works for NBC News. That's obvious. And the wrong people heard the good news. And that's why we are where we are right now, talking about an 84-year-old lady missing. Home is now a crime scene. DNA being tested. This is not good. And I'm sure her children are sick, wondering if their mother is alive. And wondering, why my mom? What did my mom do to you? You're doing this because of me? Because I got money? Probably so. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. I got a great following over there. I want to thank those people over there. You have been giving me the love that I rightfully deserve. I've got videos over there that's amassing damn near 50,000 views. Views I don't even get over here on YouTube. And I've been on YouTube since the summer of 19. They show me much love on the Newsbreak And I want to thank those people. I want to thank you for following me from Newsbreak over here to YouTube, and those of you who follow me from here to Newsbreak. But I have to say that I'm getting my justification over there. They're giving me the love that I deserve because I work hard for my content. And I have almost 6,000 videos here on this platform. And many of you don't even watch the videos. Yeah, don't hit the like. And those people over there, I've been over there a few years watching, but not a commentator, not a contributor rather. And they're giving me the love over there. And I thank those people. I thank you very much. And I thank you who follow me here and support this network. And if you like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for any super stickers. Thank you for the support. Prayers for the Guthrie family. I'm praying for a positive outcome. If indeed this is a ransom, please let this lady go so she can get the adequate medical care that she needs and deserves. You have no right to be doing this to this lady and her family and the community. There are people concerned about her, besides her family. The church, they are worried. Please let this lady go. Because you're already doomed. When you started plotting this farce, you had already doomed yourself. And it will be all for nothing because you're not about to get any money from Savannah Guthrie. You're not about to get any money from NBC. You're not about to get nothing. What you're about to get is a cot and 3 jacked up meals a day from the state of Arizona. That's what you're about to get. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Once again, prayers to the Guthrie family, praying for a positive resolution. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Have a wonderful week, everybody.